everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Donna from AskTheRadTech.com, helping you go from the classroom to the extra room with ease. So today I'm bringing this video to you guys in a little different format. I decided because I sold my camera and I'm sorting out things with the video aspect, I'm gonna just do a voiceover. Today we're talking about going to extra school, becoming a radiologic technologist, a radiographer, going through all of this during the pandemic, and different coping skills, things that you can do in order to not put yourself at a disadvantage and still excel and deal with school and all the stresses of school online. I'm in need of an X-ray. I know that it can't be easy learning in such a scenario. Learning such a practical degree online, having online classes, Zoom classes, face-to-face, having to deal with all of this on top of the stresses that school usually brings. I know it's not easy. I know it's stressful. I hear students all the time complaining and expressing how much this is taking a toll on them, taking a toll on their mental health. And I knew how difficult school was for me at certain points in my degree, and I could only imagine how much more stressful it would be not being able to go out on site often or not at all. I mean, we're a year in. It's been a year since the lockdown originally, first started in a lot of countries. And even now, like in my country right now, students are finally, not even all students, but final year students are finally getting to go out on site in order to complete their last few assessments and in order to get the competencies and stuff that they need to be eligible to do their external examination and finish their program. So I know that it is a heavy weight, to put it that way. It's not easy. It's been a year, it's been more than a year for some, and having to quarantine or having to be on lockdown, not being able to go on site, I know that wouldn't be easy. With that being said, today I have 3 helpful coping tips, things that you can implement in order to get through this difficult college period. So my first tip for you guys would be to practice positioning on family. This is something that I would always recommend. Even when I was a student, just a couple years ago, when I had my exams coming up or I wasn't sure about the positioning of something, for example, scapular positioning, scap Y, that was always, and I think from a lot of people, that's a tricky position to put the patient in order to get the scapula in profile. I always practice on my family. Yes, we don't have an X-ray tube at home, but when it comes down to the core positioning, ensuring the alignment of the body, feeling for bony landmarks, these are things that you can practice or do with family. Another thing that I would recommend is to dedicate an hour a day, at least an hour, it could be more, to watch X-rays online and in textbooks. We know that we aren't seeing it all the time now that we are at home, and we may not be in a clinical setting where we can always just pull up an X-ray and look at pathologies on site. But the internet exists, and there is a vast amount of material when it comes to radiography on the internet. So dedicate some time in your day to looking at X-rays. Critique them, don't just look at them. Think about what you would have done differently. Look at the general positioning, look at the anatomy, learn your anatomy, be able to point out different things within the image, and you just think back onto your core knowledge, like what your source to image distance would be, what size of grid or image receptor you would use, whether you would perform this certain procedure using the erect bucky or the table bucky or out of bucky. When you look through these images, don't only just look at them just for looking at them sake, but try to do the things that you know, or reflect on the things that you know your supervisors, your clinical coordinators, the radiographers who would assist you Do the things that you know they would ask, or consider those things, because that would really help keep your brain active, and so that way it wouldn't feel too rusty when it comes to these things. And now we're on to the third point. Set weekly goals. You might be wondering exactly what I mean by this, and honestly, your weekly goals could be whatever you decide for it to be. In my case, I used to set weekly goals like, okay, by the end of this week, I need to be proficient, I need to be secure in all hand, elbow, and wrist anatomy, or hand, elbow, and wrist positioning. Sometimes that might be too much. Maybe you could focus on all abdomen positioning, like supine, erect, lateral, decúbitus, whatever the case is, right? Different chest procedures. You can set your own weekly study goals based on whatever course it is that you're doing at the moment. That way you can always be progressing as each week passes. So you can focus on something each week, and don't forget to do a review, because you don't want to do it now and then you forget later on when you really need it. For point number 4, if you're a person that is usually a bit shy, or maybe you're lacking some confidence when it comes to the clinical setting, this point may be for you. Practice speaking in the mirror to help your patient care skills and in order to come across more professional. So look at yourself, look at the way you present yourself in front of the mirror, look at your body language. When you have patients or when you're interacting with someone in the medical team, you need to be sure, you need to be confident. You can't look scared and worried and unsure about yourself, right? So I recommend practicing in the mirror or looking at yourself, listening to the way that you speak, your tone, just in order to build your patient care skills, your communication skills. And the last point that I have for you all is to subscribe to my channel. Here at Rad Tech, I like to bring helpful tutorials and blogs, and I have a lot more in store coming for you all. I plan to do different positioning videos. It's all in due time, but it will come pretty soon. And I also soon enough would be doing videos on like X-ray physics, stuff like the inverse square law, just simple, straightforward and understandable explanations, because it's one thing to read the textbook definition, but it's also good to have that added, layman's terms kind of explanation, so that despite just reading it, you actually understand it, and that way you're able to explain yourself in an exam way more. So this is what I plan to do for you all. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you'll never miss out on when I upload a new video. Thanks again. Bye. You don't have to go through your anatomy exams, imaging assignments, and clinical competencies alone. Subscribe to Rad Tech for helpful tutorials and blogs. Let's make the journey from the classroom to the X-ray room much easier.